Martin Grade Scenic Drive is located just east of Okeechobee on Route 714. Winding west from Stuart toward the edge of Lake Okeechobee, the Martin Grade Scenic Highway is one of Florida's most beloved local drives. A roughly 12-mile ribbon of country road, shaded by a continuous canopy of oaks and palms, punctuated by pasture land, citrus groves, and wetland edges. Locals simply call it the Grade, and its visual drama, sunlight slicing through hanging branches and Spanish moss, long sightlines over pasture and marsh, and the sudden appearance of historic homesteads, makes the drive feel like a step back into rural Florida before suburban sprawl. The Grade is officially part of Florida's Scenic Highways network and is frequently recommended in travel guides as a quintessential Old Florida experience. The history of the corridor traces to the earliest Euro-American settlers in the region. Before paved roads and rapid post-war development, this corridor served as a practical west-east access route across the upland ridge that separates the Atlantic coastal plain from the lowlands toward Lake Okeechobee. Early 19th and early 20th century settlers carved pastures from pine flatwoods and hammock, planted groves and fields, and built homesteads that remain, in some cases, as historic markers or working ranches along the corridor. The road evolved from those local lanes into County Road 714, and through community preservation efforts and state programs, it was later recognized for its scenic and cultural qualities. That layering of agricultural, transportation, and conservation history gives the Grade its character, a working landscape that also reads like living history. Vegetation is perhaps the Grade's single most striking attribute. The corridor is famous for long stretches of mature live oaks, cabbage palms, maples, and other hardwoods that arch over the pavement to form a continuous cathedral-like canopy. Understory plants, fence row grasses, and remnant hammock species frame pastures and groves, while wetlands and sloughs on the margins support marsh grasses and wetland trees. This mix of hammock, pasture, citrus groves, and isolated wetland pockets demonstrates the ecological diversity of the southeast Florida ridge. It is not a single uniform habitat, but a mosaic shaped by soils, water table, and former human land use. Many travel accounts emphasize the tree tunnel feel, light and shadow shifting as you drive. And conservation groups note the importance of preserving these mature trees for ecological and scenic value. What was the Grade used for historically, and what does it serve today? Historically, it was a connective local road, moving people and agricultural goods between farms, citrus groves, ranches, and the small towns that supplied markets and railheads. The nearby landscape supported cattle, citrus, and smaller diversified farms, and the road's alignment reflects patterns of land ownership and access dating to those agricultural eras. Over time, the Grade also served recreational and aesthetic purposes. Local residents valued the shaded road for leisure drives, and photographers and artists found the corridor's light and composition irresistible. As tourism and scenic byway programs grew in the late 20th and early 21st centuries, the Grade took on a public identity as a destination in its own right. A short, accessible drive where visitors can experience pastoral Florida and historic landscapes without leaving the car. Today, the Grade functions at several overlapping levels. First, it is still a working rural corridor. Ranches and farm parcels along the road are active, and agriculture remains visible. Second, it is an ecological corridor. Mature trees and patches of natural hammock provide habitat for birds, small mammals, and pollinators, and help maintain local biodiversity in a region otherwise transformed by development. Third, it is a scenic and recreational resource. Locals and visitors use it for photography, cycling, and relaxed drives. Regional tourism outlets listed among top scenic drives in Florida, and conservation-minded organizations promote its preservation as a way to keep rural character intact. These multiple uses, working land, habitat, and scenic resource, are exactly why scenic highway designation and local conservation efforts matter. They help balance infrastructure needs with the special character of the corridor. The grade's cultural significance is also important. Drive-side features, older fence lines, historic homes, and small community landmarks tell stories of settlement, agricultural booms, notably citrus, and the ongoing negotiation between preservation and development. For photographers, artists, and writers, the grade is a type. The old Florida aesthetic of wide skies, tree tunnels, and quiet rural scenes. For community groups and county planners, it's a living example of why place-based planning matters. The drive's scenic value depends on mature trees, low building density, and continued agricultural uses, all of which can be threatened by subdivision and road widening. Efforts by local groups and Florida's Scenic Highways program aim to document and protect those features while keeping the corridor accessible. If you plan to visit, the grade is best enjoyed slowly and respectfully. Roll down the windows, notice the shifts from oak canopy to open pasture, and pause at public pullouts or nearby communities rather than parking on shoulders or private driveways. Photography, bird watching, and short local walks, where public access exists. Let visitors appreciate the mix of natural and cultural history. For residents and planners, the challenge is to steward the grade so that it remains both useful as local rural infrastructure and beautiful as a corridor that tells the story of Florida's landscape change. Preserving mature trees, supporting agricultural livelihoods, and guiding compatible development are the practical steps that will keep that story visible for future generations. In short, the Martin Grade Scenic Highway is more than a pleasant drive. It is a narrow thread of Florida's agricultural and ecological past running through the present. Its canopy, groves, and pastures give travelers a tangible sense of place, and its continuing use for farming, recreation, and quiet travel demonstrates how landscapes can remain multifunctional when communities choose to value them. Whether you come for the light through the oaks, the quiet pastures, or the hint of history in an old farmhouse, the grade offers a compact lesson in why roads can be more than transport corridors. They can be living archives of a region's natural and human story.
Thank you for watching my YouTube channel. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed it. When you get a chance, if you would please subscribe to my channel, that would help us out. Thank you.